Alright, so today we're going to be taking a look at learning how to find a number when the percent is known. This is going to be directly related to our previous lesson when we were finding a percent. Like I was saying, when we're looking at information like the previous lesson, we're really setting up the same things. It's just different aspects are going to be missing at different times. So here we have 60 is 12% of what number? Since we know the percent, one way we can do this is set up an equation. Percents in the equation, remember, are always a decimal. So I'm going to put 12%. Because it's of, remember that's times what number? It's going to be 0.12 times x, because that's the number that we don't know, is, or which is equal to, 60. And now that we know our equation, we can go and actually solve. So since we're multiplying, I'm going to divide by 12/100ths on both sides. So in the end, x is equal to 500. Now it's your turn. Why don't you go ahead and pause the video and see if you can set up an equation for this problem. Since we have 75 it's going to be 75 equals 25%, so we're going to write it as a decimal, of what number? So times x. I'm going to solve it. I'm going to divide by 0.25. And I get that 300 is equal to x. So let's look at a real life example of where we might find the percent, find a number when we know a percent. Tom earns 80% on a test by answering 20 questions correctly. If each question was worth the same amount, how many questions were on the test? So you can do this by setting a proportion to find the number. So we know 80%, so go over 100, is the same as getting 20 questions out of x, because he answered 20 questions correctly. So now because we have the proportion, we're going to go ahead and cross multiply. So we have 20 times 100 is equal to 80x. So this becomes 2000 equals 80x. We're going to divide by 80. So we have to undo what's happening to each, or to the variable. So we get 25 is equal to x. So in other words, Tom, the test that Tom took had 25 questions on it. Now let's look at another problem. When a giraffe is born, it's approximately 55% as tall as it will be as an adult. If a baby giraffe is 5.2 feet tall when it's born, how tall will it be when it is full grown to the nearest tenth of a foot? So we're going to set up a proportion. And the nice thing, like I said again, we at least always know where the percents go. So it's going to be 55 over 100. So here, when it's 5.2 feet, that's the part. We don't know what its whole height will be. So we're going to cross multiply. So we have 100 times 5.2. It's going to equal 55x. So then this becomes 520. We're going to divide by 55. And rounded to the nearest tenth of a foot, we would have 9.5 feet. Now it's your turn. Why don't you go ahead and try this problem on your own. So pause the video and try it out. When Bart was 12, he was approximately 85% of the weight he is now. If Bart was 120 pounds, how heavy is he now? So once again, we have 85 over 100. Because they're saying when he was 12, he was 120 pounds. That's going to be our part. Cross multiply. So we have 120 times 100 is equal to 85x. So we have 12,000 is equal to 85x. Divide by 85. My writing's getting kind of sloppy. And we're going to get to the nearest tenth of a pound, 141.2 pounds is equal to his current weight. So just as a quick review, there's actually 3 types of percent problems. One is where you're finding the percent of a number, which we did in 6.2. And they give you the percent and they give you the whole. And you can set it up with an equation or with a proportion. We found the percent of one number is the percent one number is of another. So it's kind of those last few examples. Or no, this was 6.2. Sorry. And then, or 6.3. 6.2 was the finding percent. This was 6.3. And now here, it's just another way to set up our problems.